All right, what's up? What's up? What's up, party people? It's your girl Jackie Johnson,
And it's LaQuisha. What's up?
and we are My Sister and Me LLC, and we want to welcome you to Sister Conversations in
In
Black.
black.
All right, now y'all tell us how we did on that intro. Sometime it be a lag, and we be saying it at opposite times, but I think we did all right today. Now, listen,
Mm-hmm.
y'all. Welcome to episode 8, The Bare Naked Truth. And I really hope that we are all ready for this episode because I promise y'all, this episode is about to get real. But I just want to say, too often we don't have real conversations about real stuff that we deal with as women, as Black women, and in our society and culture. So the purpose of this podcast is to always be real, informational, inspirational, but also to really, really have some real dialogue about the things that we deal with and the things that plague us. So getting down to it again, the topic today is the bare naked truth. And we're going to be talking about some stuff that may be uncomfortable. You may not even want to hear because you fit in some of these categories. And let's be real, we all fit in one of these categories. But it's just time for us to deal with the truth of things and, move forward in a healthy and productive way. So without further ado, y'all know me. Um, I'm going to turn it over to my sis here to kick us off, and we'll tag team along the way. Let's get it. Let's go, sis.
Okay, just as she said, this is about the bare naked truth. When we talk about the bare naked truth, today we're going to talk about relationships. Another day it might be bare naked truth about something else. But today we're going to talk about relationships. Why? Because everybody is going through it. Everybody is seeming to have something going on.
Right.
So that's why we're going to talk about it. We need to stay relevant. We're going to talk about things that are current, things that are plaguing us as a people. So here we go. The bare naked truth in relationships, dysfunctional, toxic, and how to move forward towards healing. Okay. And I know we've talked about this, but it's never enough. It's never enough. So I want to talk about why there is a need to say that men are against women and women are against men. We often say that there are no good men, or there are some good men, but they're far between. But then you get men that say there are no good women. Mm-hmm. Or you get men that say, if you had have been doing this, I wouldn't have had to go out and do that. Oh. Or if you had have not withheld sex from me, I wouldn't have gone out and done that. Actually had that conversation, which is dysfunctional within itself. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Why are so many relationships dysfunctional and toxic? Who's at fault? Is it a lack of communication, like many people would have you to believe? Or is it a lack of comprehension? Is it both? Well, is it childhood trauma?
Well,
is it that you've been wronged by a man or a woman, and now you look at everybody the same? Yeah, well, if your relationship has these things in it, it's probably toxic and dysfunctional. Number 1, cheating. Mm-hmm. Number 2, lying. Number 3, abandonment. Mm-hmm. Number 4, no lack of communication. If your relationship has any of those things, it's probably toxic and dysfunctional.
That's good.
Another one, most important, if your relationship has a third party and it's not agreed upon, because some people agree upon that certain thing, and it's not agreed upon, it's dysfunctional. A third party is not healthy.
Right.
Okay. There's always going to be some form of competition. There's always going to be some form of resentment. Maybe that person is getting too much attention.
Right.
So let's really get to it. And this is what I want to say. The title that I have in my name today is Unapologetic.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, men. I'm coming for you today. We can come from the women another day, but I'm coming for you today.
Well,
because you got Kevin Samuels. Let's go ahead and talk about him. You got Kevin Samuels on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere, downgrading women, Black women in
especially Black
general,
women.
talking bad about them, dogging them out, telling them they are 6 at best, they're not gonna get this, they're not gonna get that, destroying the self-esteem of women, of Black women. Why do that, Kevin Samuels, when we already have society against us? We already have culture stealing from us, taking our identity, our look, the way we walk, the way we talk, our swagger, and then wanting to toss us to the side after they've taken everything from us. So to have a Black man, a brother, try to downgrade us and put us down. And here's the thing. You can tell somebody something, but there's a way that you can tell them. There's a way that you can say it. If you're truly about helping us be better women, say it to us right. Because remember, you were born of a Black woman. Your skin don't look white to me. Your skin look Black. You were born of a Black woman. So is this something that you would say to her? And she may have had her faults, but there is a way that you handle situations. I could clearly say, I think Kevin Samuels is gay. I could say that. And there's a way I could say it that'll be like, dang, did she say it like that? Or I could say, I'm not sure if Kevin Samuels prefers women, but that's totally up to him. There's a way that you can say things. And so we have, outside of Kevin Samuels, we have Mr. Tony, what was his name? It was another one. His first name was Tony, that came out putting Black women down, talking bad about Black women as well. So you got Kevin Samuels, you got Mr. Tony, then you turn around and you got all the rappers. Boosie said you should have more than one woman. You got all the rappers putting us down. Okay. So what has happened is it is now a culture of treat the Black woman like crap. And then men get upset when women start to give them that same energy back.
Right.
Or they become trifling and they start doing trifling things. But you started it. You started it. And somebody would say, well, it was started with Eve. Was it? Was it? Because Adam didn't want to take any responsibility. He said, well, it was the woman that you gave me. He could have said, yeah, Lord, I bit it. I bit the fruit too. Well, it was the woman that you gave me. That's the blame game. Everything is our fault. And this is not from a personal, well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a perfect personal thing. And it's also what I have witnessed. I am tired of watching Kevin Samuels put Black women down. There are things that Kevin Samuels says that I totally agree with. I totally agree with. His delivery is abhorrible. It is disgusting.
Right. Trash.
For a Black man to put us down that way. I'm serious. And you could say, oh, well, you got Cardi B talking about the WAP, and you got this and you got that, you got all this and all that. But look at the women that Kevin Samuels was putting down. He ain't put down Cardi B's.
Right.
He putting down working class women that's trying to make ends meet.
Yep.
That's been crushed and walked upon. So shame on you, Kevin Samuels, because I know it's Black women in your family. You ain't right, bro. Like, and I'm not even saying I don't agree with you on some stuff. I'm just saying your delivery is abhorrible. And now let's go ahead and get into Derrick Jackson. I know everybody done heard, if you pay attention to Derrick Jackson, been cheating on his wife for 5 years. This is the relationship guru.
When this come out?
Oh, you didn't know?
I saw rumors, but I didn't know if it was factual.
Watch the news. It's all over. It's all over YouTube and everything. The woman that came out with receipts.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that sad? It just dampers your whole trust on the male species. Like, dang, Kevin.
But you know what? And I'm gonna say this right here, right now, because even with you saying that, like, you know, I love Derrick Jackson, and
yeah, we all do.
I find his information to be very helpful and credible.
Yep.
And you know what this reminds me of? Even in the church world, like when you like that preacher and you follow that preacher and you was helped and you was blessed by a preacher, and then something come out and it's like, man, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I believe everybody should be held accountable for what they do. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not going to negate the right information that was given.
Yeah.
And this is why I say this, because some man somewhere, probably a whole lot of men somewhere, is somewhere laughing it up right
now. They laughing at him.
Because they know that all of their women will be sending them his posts and videos, and they like, this nigga ain't got it together either. You know what I mean? Like, but I also feel like that's on the flip side of that, there's some woman somewhere that's like, if somebody like him can't keep it together, then there is no hope. All men cheat. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be real with you. This is something even you and I, sis, have talked about. This is where we are right now. When when we as women deal with trauma and men who don't handle us correctly, what it does is it forces us to make decisions about our belief system. It forces us to reinvent how we feel and what we want in life, because most women start out wanting love, a husband, and a family. But when you get that and that man stumps all over your heart or mistreats you,
about it,
or abandons you, or walks away from you, or doesn't appreciate you, or cheats on you, now you are left with an emotional bag. And even after you heal, even after you go through whatever you need to go through to become better, you're now faced with, do I want that again? Is that even possible? Like, is this a fantasy that I was chasing all of my life? Like, is there any man out there who could even give me what I'm asking for? And the thing is, most people will say you asking for too much. But no, bruh, if I give you faithfulness, I should be able to get faithfulness. Because the same stuff that you go through as a man, when you feel like you ain't respected enough, or you feel like you ain't attracted to your mate no more, or you don't want the responsibilities of paying bills, and we go through that same stuff as women. But you know what? We ain't going looking for another man to give us a temporary fix on the stuff that we want from you. We work with your tired self and try to get you to do the things that we need you to do so we can continue in a happy relationship. And that's the difference between a good woman and a so-called good man. You're going to go outside of the relationship to get all the things you feel like you wasn't getting.
She going to sit there and fight.
Or to feel something you ain't felt in a relationship, when the reality is marriages and relationships go in cycles. If you've been with a person long enough, it ain't always sunshine. It ain't a honeymoon, all of that relationship. If you cannot weather storms
Come on.
With the idea and the mindset that no matter what, I will find my way back to you, then you ain't ready for no marriage. Don't marry no woman, and women don't marry no man. If you don't have the mindset that if I stop loving him, or if I stop loving her, if she stops being attractive to me, if he stops being attractive to me, if I become bored, if I become tired with that, I will find my way back, no matter what it takes, to my spouse. If you don't have that mindset, don't get married.
And here's the thing. You said something. You said fantasy. I got a note on that. Okay?
Let's talk about it.
Toxic relationship is often characterized by repeated mutual modes of relating between a couple. It's a pattern. They involve jealousy, possessiveness, dominance, manipulation, deception, desperation, selfishness, and rejection. However, the one common theme in a toxic relationship is when they have an intense draw to each other's pain because of one another.
Wow.
They have an intense draw to each other's pain because of one another. What does that do? When that happens, they have entered a fantasy bond. You brought up fantasy. They've entered a fantasy bond. Okay? A fantasy bond is toxic to a relationship because it replaces real feelings, hear me, of love and support with a desire to fuse the identities as a unit, dysfunctional identity. As the couple relates to a we instead of you and me, their relationship becomes more about form than togetherness. Hear me when I say a fantasy, and let me break it down in layman's terms. Fantasy bond is when you have infused a connection with another person based on the dysfunctional bonds and pains that you all have brought on each other.
Right.
Is that layman's terms enough? So now you are no longer operating from a genuine love, but more so from a genuine place, or not a genuine, but from a place of codependency, because you have forced pain on each other. And so now you feel like you need each other when you should be leaving. You got something you want to say about that, sis?
I just said, wow. No, go ahead. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. So how does one end up in a toxic relationship?
Oh, now this is good. I want to know.
Bare naked truth.
Let's talk about it.
I can only speak from the woman's perspective. I'm going to tell you what happened. You have different possibilities. The first one, women can be vulnerable. Let's talk about it. I'm finna go here. A vulnerable woman can deem any sort of attention as something healthy. She tries to replace it because she's vulnerable. Even though the person means her no good, in the beginning, they could come off as a knight in shining armor. She will always view you as that because she's vulnerable at that moment. You become her Superman because she's vulnerable.
Right.
She believes that she is falling in love with you because in her places of vulnerability, you have been there for her. This may be a woman that has lacked the attention, love, and support from friends or family for a while. This may be a woman who feels like she has often had to walk alone. And here you come in and you love bomb her. But in reality, you're a narcissist. Or you could be. Because eventually you realize after she is no longer vulnerable and picked up pieces and put herself back together, she's really strong. So you don't want that. Why? Because there are men that need to be needed. I am of the belief that It is better for me to want you than to need you. For me, need is a necessity. Want is a desire. If I only have you around because I need you, when will I ever desire to have you? You are just there. Unknown caller. Excuse me. You are this just there. Did you have something you want to add on to that, sis?
Yeah, so like I totally agree. I think a lot of times like we think that that's romantic when a person tells us that they need us. Like we view it as like this romantic, oh, he need me, can't live without me. And don't get me wrong, like when we talk about marriage and we talk about the covenant that comes with marriage, there is a codependency that you're supposed to have within that marriage, that you rely upon one another to make this team work. That's a different kind of need. That's not like if you leave me today, I'll fall to pieces. That is, we are a team, and you do your part and I do my part, and it carries our family, it carries our marriage. Totally different. But as far as you as a man needing me and me as a woman needing you, like if I don't have you, I'm going to be nothing. That is not romantic. It's not even healthy. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not with somebody because you feel like they add to you and because they enhance what you already have, you're already in a dysfunctional relationship. You're
Correct.
already in a relationship that is not designed for the correct thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I believe like our culture, we were never taught that. We were never taught
Nope.
to be healthy and whole and happy before we got with someone. I know I wasn't taught that. It was always made to seem to me like you got happy when you found that right one. You were
Yeah.
complete when you found that man who was willing to love you and take care of you and provide for you. Like those were the things that were implicated to me growing up. So when I
Yeah.
first got married, I was looking for a knight in shining armor. I was looking for a man to come in and marry me, love me, make me his wife, provide for me, protect me, and I was willing to do those things that a wife was supposed to do. And that is what I thought that marriage was, because the narrative that I had always seen was this is how it is. You're not complete until you have your rib. You're not complete until you have your husband. You're not complete until you have your wife. But the reality is, we're supposed to be whole and complete before we link up. Because if you're whole and you have things going on and you know how to be happy, as an individual, and you get with another person who doesn't know how to be happy on their own, let me tell you something, you will carry the atmosphere of the relationship the entire time. And that person can be happy with you for years. But if that person hits a rough spot in their life emotionally and mentally, because they don't know how to be happy as an individual, because they don't know how to deal with their issues as an individual, your relationship is going to suffer because
Yeah.
you know how to be happy. So this is what happens, like a husband and wife is married, and maybe that wife is she was whole when she got with him. So
Right.
she knows how to be happy, with outside of him. She knows if something's going on with her emotionally, she knows what she needs to do to make sure she heals and move through it. Okay, but
Yeah.
maybe that husband doesn't. Okay, what happens is when you have an issue within a marriage, it could be money, it could be issues with the kids, it could be whatever. When you start having issues in a marriage, what happens is that wife, because she is healthy and whole already, she knows how to kick into this let's heal and move through it gear. That man who does not have that begins to divert to other things, or begins to act like nothing's wrong because he don't want to deal with the issues,
Right.
or he begins to dismiss it like it's not a real issue. Like
Yep.
the unhealthy behavior now starts in the marriage, and that wife is thinking everything is good, but that man is dealing with it internally. He's not saying to his wife, I'm unhappy. He's not saying to his wife, I think I'm getting depressed and I don't know how to deal with it. He is just sulking further and further down this pit. And then what happens is now it becomes noticeable because it's in him so much that now it's coming out in his actions, it's coming out in his attitude. And that wife is keep saying, what's wrong? I know something is wrong. How can we fix this? What can we do? But this man who does not know how to deal with that or wants to go into a place of healing and wants to fix it, he don't have that mindset. He's now in another place of, I'm unhappy here. And the reason why I'm unhappy is because I'm married, or because I have all these responsibilities on me, or because the kids ain't acting right. It becomes everybody's fault except the fact that I'm going through stuff in life and I don't know how to handle what I'm going through. And so you understand what I'm saying? They don't take any ownership. This is why it's important that people are whole before you link up together, because then when stuff happens, you recognize something is wrong. And we need to start dealing with it.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question. Because I don't know how much of the complete wholeness that I agree with. I do think that there are areas that people can be whole in.
Yes.
But I don't think that there are like perfect people that are completely whole. However, I do feel like if you both struggle in the same area, it's probably not a good thing. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, what I think is this. I think nobody is completely whole. What I'm talking about whole, I mean, you're not looking for, you're not looking for another person to fulfill anything in you.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what I mean by whole. Like you genuinely.
I just want a clarification for others.
No,
yeah.
It's good. It's good. We need to clarify. So when I say whole, I mean you're a person who is not looking for somebody else to come in and give you something or fulfill something within yourself. You genuinely know how to be happy by yourself. You deal with issues.
Talk about this now.
Yeah, you deal with issues and problems. You may even suffer from depression and other things, but you know how to seek help for healing. That's wholeness. You have to be whole to be able to say, yeah, I think I'm slipping into depression. I need to call a counselor. I need to call somebody and get help. That's wholeness. It's not perfect, it's whole, meaning you recognize that there's a problem area and you seek out help. That's wholeness. So that's what I'm talking about. And then I'm talking about somebody who understands, like, if I never get a man, if I never get a woman, like I can still have a happy, fulfilling life. Not a life of bitterness where I'm like, I don't need nobody, but like I can literally enjoy my life. That's whole. So when I talk about whole, that's what I'm talking about. Like you're working, so you have finances coming in, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you have a job at McDonald's, like you have a set thing, like you're taking care of yourself already before you ever met that person. Like you're not, and I'm not even like knocking anybody who lives with somebody, but do you have any type of responsibility living in that home? Even if you're still young and you're living at home with your parents, what responsibilities do you have? Are you taking care of yourself, or are your parents still taking care of you? You know what I'm saying?
So
like that.
Another one of those things, and I gotta come for you women. Selection process sucks. I'm not even gonna say your. At times, our selection process sucks.
Absolutely.
Why are we selecting that person who was wrong from the start? When you do this, you choose someone who reminds you of figures from your past or with whom you can replace scenarios from your developmental years. That's heavy. Because a lot of times we'll say, oh, no, I didn't. But subconsciously you did. That person relates to some form of someone else or some developmental stage that you went through or did or lack thereof. It's subliminal. You may not agree with me, but it's true. It's true. You may select those people who have similar qualities of family members or early attachment figures who were mistreated you or hurt you. For instance, if you had a parent who was passive and held back emotionally, you might seek out a partner who is more distant or cold. Somebody may not agree with this, but this is what it is.
Well, let's go with that real quick.
Okay.
I do agree with that particular statement. If you grew
Mm-hmm.
up with a parent who didn't show affection, didn't da 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 da, you
Or
probably,
lack thereof.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you will seek out somebody like that because it's what you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm talking from experience, like I have even relatives who told me like my affection and
Mm-hmm.
my I love you and that to, it made them uncomfortable
I told you that.
because they didn't yeah, shut up. I didn't even talk about you. I didn't even talk about you.
Relatives is me.
But I'm just saying, like they told me, like it made them uncomfortable because they did not have that in their household or in their environments. And
Yeah.
so even though I'm their relative, like it was like, whoa, too much, you know. But then they came back and said to me, right. But then they came back and said to me,
You love me every day.
right. Then they came back and said to me, you know what? It made me see like my area of dysfunction because
Yes.
why was I uncomfortable with receiving love?
Yeah.
And it made them think about, you know, that. So I totally agree with that because if that's what you're used to, if you're used to a cold environment or environment where there was not very much affection shown, you're not seeking out a partner who wants to show you affection and like you just like, ew, that's too much.
Yeah.
I don't need that. So I agree
So
with
it goes both ways. Our selection process for men and women are wrong sometimes.
bless you,
The
Prophet.
next thing, huh?
I was acknowledging Prophet
Oh,
on the
the
live.
next thing is when a person selects a partner who is different from their attachment figures and establishes a close relationship or some type of relationship,
Mhm.
there are other maneuvers that still can turn a loving relationship toxic. The second one is distortion.
Mhm.
I know this is heavy today. I feel it. It's like in my stomach. It's like sitting there, like boom. Every time I hear something, it's like, you really want to go there? I ain't got no choice. Because we need it. So the next one is distortion, and that's when a person distorts their partner to see him or her, to see him or her as being like or similar to those from your early life. In actuality, the very qualities you were drawn to in your relationship in a different way from a positive and compassionate perspective may, hold on, I'm sorry. The very qualities that you were drawn to in your partner may begin to challenge your negative views of yourself. That's what I meant to say.
Oh,
Forcing
you definitely gonna have to break this down afterwards.
Okay,
Right.
so they may challenge the negative views that you see for yourself, forcing you to see yourself or your relationship in a different way from a positive and compassionate perspective.
Hmm.
Okay, for example, and I always use this. This is the only thing that I have to go on right now, but I always use this for an example. My ex-husband, I think I told you this. My ex-husband was very loving, very compassionate, very I love you and sensitive and things like that. And I did not grow up that way. Did my family love me? Does my family love me? Yeah. But we didn't go around like, let's hug. We didn't do that. There were different ways that you knew that we loved by providing or taking up for you or fighting for you, or it was just different. Like we wasn't walking around cussing each other out, but it was just different.
Mhm.
And even with my grandmother, God bless her soul, she was a wonderful woman, but it wasn't a whole bunch of I love yous. You just kind of knew that she did. And she would say it, ever so often. But it wasn't that. And we didn't get a whole bunch of that from my mother either, but you just knew. So being in that, I chose someone who was affectionate in that area. What it eventually did, and I'm breaking down this comment that I'm using the example.
Yeah.
What it eventually did was, even when God brought you into my life, sis, as well. So next thing you know, I've got two very loving, compassionate people around me, and I'm very Like, girl, you know I love you, but like, we don't need to hug right now.
Right.
Like, we don't need to end every phone call with I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need to kiss my ex-husband. I don't need to kiss you in public all the time. You know, I kiss you private. You know, so when that happened, it challenged me to examine different areas of my life. Like, hey. And then when you start having children, your children, now I have one child in particular, my basketball star, that is a lot like her auntie Jay. She is very loving, very compassionate. So it's always, I love you, I love you, I love you. So it challenges you to look at yourself and figure out, because at first you could be thinking something's wrong with them. No, baby.
Right.
Something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what that means when it challenges you to view the negative views, to look at the negative side of you. That's a good thing. Let me let you know. Your relationship should challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
It should challenge you to do that. And here's my problem with you men. You don't want to be challenged.
There it is.
You don't want to be challenged. And this is why
them and stay them.
This is why men will leave a good woman. You leave a good woman because she challenges you.
Fact.
You're gonna go back to what you know.
And then say she trying to run you.
And then say she trying to run you. or say she too needy. Where?
Yep.
Where? She's not needy. She see more in you than you see in yourself.
Girl, wait a minute now.
Rick, did she just say something?
She did. Wait a minute. I done heard.
Woo.
You just want me sitting up under you all day. Nigga, where?
Where? Where? Listen, let me dispel this belief real quick. Maybe not every woman agree with me, but let me go ahead and put this out there. Look, working women that have careers, women that have businesses, women that have things going on, they have young people, they have children, they don't want you up under them 24/7.
Yep.
They don't want you up under them 24/7.
Facts.
They want you around, but not 24/7. And here's the problem with men. Okay, women, let me let y'all in. You know why they run? When you start talking serious about a relationship? Because they don't comprehend what kind of relationship you're talking about.
Mm.
They automatically assume that you want them around you 24/7 and that they're going to be cooped up. And let me just let you men know this. All of us don't want you around all day.
No,
I don't want you around all the time.
I just need you when I'm ready. Like,
not all the time. Not all the time.
But let's be real. Let's deal with that though, because
let's deal with it.
That is a misconception, because even me with all my lovey-dovey, affection, romantic, all of that.
Yep.
I'm a whole entrepreneur.
Yep.
I run several businesses and I oversee my children's businesses.
Yep.
I also have a contract. I work from 9 to 5. Baby, who got time to sit up under you all day? That's not what we're asking for. That's not what we need. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality. Like, and so the reality is, the truth is, like you said, when you are a good woman, you are going to challenge your man, especially if your man is becoming stagnant.
Yeah.
Because we will not stay attached to stagnation.
Not at all.
You ain't gotta move. You ain't gotta move at the same speed as us, but you gotta move. Because I say this to y'all all the time. If we moving and I'm going like this, but you staying still, at some point we're gonna reach a cap. And that's gonna have to get cut. But if you moving, even if you moving slowly, you still rising with me. So it's not even like she expects you to do what she's doing. She expects you to reach your potential. And the problem with Black men especially is anytime that woman tries to encourage you into your potential, you now, because you don't want to do it, because you're lazy, because you don't believe in your own self, because you don't even want to strive for nothing more, you now say she's controlling.
Yep.
She nagging.
Yeah.
Nagging? She controlling?
And let me say this. If you are dating a woman who is completely different from anything you've ever had, and she's challenging you, she might be the one. She might be the one. You know why? Because the women you've had that pattern, how far has it gotten you?
Nowhere. Yep.
I'm just saying.
That's real talk.
And I'm not even speaking from a personal experience. It's a personal experience, and then it's not. If she's challenging you and she's completely different, there may be a reason. You might need to examine that.
Yeah.
But
see, that's that.
But if you don't want to change, you don't have to.
But see, that's that man breakdown. That's what I'm talking to you about. That's that man breakdown where he doesn't even recognize that he has a woman that is challenging him to reach his potential. I'm gonna tell you this, any woman that is married to a good man, she can testify that she helped him reach some potentials in his life because he allowed her to. He may not have even been comfortable with elevating, but because—
But let's talk about this though.
Go ahead.
When they do that, let me ask you this. It seemed like them men walk all over those women.
It depends.
And when I say walk all over, I don't mean like I'm gonna take this from her, this and that. I mean just treat her like, oh, don't like let me not let her know that I care for her. Let me not let her know that I love her. Let me treat her like I treat the rest of them. What do you have to say to that, sis?
Well, I agree. I'm not going to say that all of them do that. I'm not going to say all of them do that. Some men do appreciate what that woman has done and been in that life, and it makes them bond to them. But there are those other men who she has helped get to this level, and now that he's at this level, he feel like somebody. And he stops appreciating her. He stops adoring her. He stops all of that because now he feel like he got something. He feel like he got a little change now. He feel like he got some swag now. He feel like he got, you know what I'm saying? So those kind of men, sometimes, yes, they do. They start neglecting that woman because they forget all the work she did with him to help him. Now, all of this brings me to the point. You're talking about our selection process as women.
Yes.
I wholeheartedly was the kind of woman that I'm not looking for perfection. All I need you to do is love me and be faithful and dedicated to me in our marriage or relationship, and I can work with you with the rest of that stuff. Okay? But I'm going to tell you why we suffer is because when you do take a man who is not ready with those other things, and you do put the time and energy in to help him, build him, love him, encouraging him, and he finally gets somewhere, and then he turns his back on you, that is a pain that you'll never want to experience. However, if we would have chose someone more stable, who only had some areas they needed help in, we would have grew on a much stronger platform. Because for men pride themselves in what they have and what they do. And it doesn't matter how much love and support you give them. If they're not reaching a certain plateau in that marriage or relationship, they feel inadequate. And they may never tell you that, but they will feel inadequate, and that inadequacy can turn into resentment. It can even turn into you are against me. It can even turn into them looking at you as if you're their enemy and not their spouse.
Competition.
Exactly. And not their spouse, not their family, not their safety. So
the next thing, you're right. The next thing is, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the provocation. It's where you provoke your partner to treat you the way you were treated in a former relationship, but you don't know you're doing it.
Ooh.
You are unaware of the ways that you provoke your partner into treating you that way. You may act out qualities you don't even like in yourself, such as jealousy, criticalness. Oddly enough, you do this to recreate an emotional environment that may be unpleasant, but is actually comfortable in your familiarity.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, that's heavy, but we have done that as women. We can be so used to a thing. I don't know if you ever heard the terms of familiar spirits, but we can be so used to a thing that we don't even know we're operating in a way, creating an environment of what we were used to. And this is why people need to heal. That's toxicity.
Ooh, God.
Did we have any comments, sis? Because you know I can't see them.
Nope.
Okay. So, man, what I would like for you to understand if you're watching this is that every woman that goes through certain things or may display certain characteristics is not because she hates you. It's because she's hurt. And it is our job as spouses, men and women, to love those people through those things. But here's the thing. When that person loves you through a thing, don't look at it as a weakness. It's actually a strength. A weakness would be to walk away and say, you know what, you have that problem. I don't care about you. I'm gone.
Right.
A strength would be to say, you have that problem. I'm going to love you through it. But oftentimes with men, they view it as a weakness for women. And I'm going to throw this out there. And even other women view it as a weakness.
Ooh, woo! Now you gonna open up a can of something we ain't supposed to be open. Listen.
Well, we're gonna open a little bit. We're gonna crack it today.
Open up Pandora box, because you know I've been dying to talk about that, and I had that on my list for today. Is how we as women judge one another so harshly. And here's the things within the confines of a relationship. How many times have you said, or you have heard other people say, I wouldn't take that. If I was you, I would leave that nigga alone. If I was
match the energy.
Right. All of this stuff. And you know, I talked about last week how somebody had the nerve to say to me, if I had an issue with my husband out in public with another woman, why don't I just go on out and get a divorce?
Oh, they said it to you.
Yeah.
And they walked in your shoes. Because people have a tendency to say things when they haven't walked in other people's places. You haven't walked in my shoes, but you're going to sit here and judge me. And how can I match the energy? You telling me to match energy. You and I are not even the same type of woman.
I said, what? Wait, hold up.
Talk about it.
Hold up, friends. And y'all know me, I'm transparent. I ain't got no shame in no part of my life. So what I'm saying is this. In that moment, I almost got my feelings hurt, but then I remembered that I was a healed woman. I remembered that I was a mature woman, emotionally and mentally. I am mature. And so I choose not to make the same mistakes that I have made in the past.
Yeah.
If that man want a divorce, he can go pay for a divorce and get a divorce. Because I'm going to tell you, it's not that I won't get one, but when I go file for a divorce, it'll be because I'm completely healed. I don't think of you anymore. I don't cry at the thought of our marriage being over or none of that. You know why you do it at that time? Because you don't put yourself through more emotional trauma. And so for that person to suggest that I should go ahead and clean up his mess was very immature of them, very judgmental of them, and showed that they had no compassion for my own emotional state. Because I have done that in the past, and most women do that in the past. When your spouse has cheated on you or misused you anyway, you run out and hurry up and get a divorce so you can prove that you're okay and that you're moving on. That don't prove that you're okay and you moving on. All you doing is inflicting yourself with trauma before you're ready. If you're going to separate and do that, do it on your own terms and on your own time.
Listen, I be listening to my sister, so don't y'all even get on me. I have to sneak a bite in. Because you know, I'm listening to her.
You so silly. Listen,
So yes,
we be hungry, okay? We eat, okay? I'm telling you now, man, you try to take us out on a date, we ain't no salad eating chicks. You better bring that wallet. I promise you.
Okay, and if you don't want to pay for my food, just know my portion gonna be paid for. Okay. So look. So yes, you know, men, women, that's not a weakness if a woman wants to. I don't have to match the energy that you give out. You're telling me to match energy. We're not the same type of woman.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a transparent moment. I tried to match energy at one point in my life. I tried to match energy, and I realized that ain't me, and it's too much work.
Yeah.
It's too much work.
It is.
That's not the lifestyle that I'm interested in. If you want to go out here and be playing these games with these females, that have a certain mindset, that's your business. That's your business. But just know when you come over here, you need to be a little bit more mature.
Right.
Or don't come over here.
Exactly.
And because they obviously have time for that. Now, I don't.
That brings up another point. Another point. When men try to approach a good woman who has come out of a bad situation, please know, fellas, she ain't in the games.
No, we don't have time.
Because men like to play these games.
Yeah.
Like, they like what they can't have. So they'll chase you until they get you. And then when they get you, like, they lost interest all of a sudden or whatever. Listen, I'm a grown woman. I don't play them kind of games. If for any kind of reason I'm feeling you, and I let you know I'm feeling you because I'm grown. I'm going to let you know I'm feeling you.
And it's going to take a minute for me to even express completely how I really, really feel. But when I do, come on now. And it's a whole 100%.
We get to a moment,
like, it's not halfway. This is not a game.
That's what I'm saying. When we get to a place where we can tell you how we feel, we can tell you we're feeling you, we can tell you we like, bruh, if you drag your feet, if you drop the ball, if you continue to play games, you're going to lose her.
It's just, who has time for that? And here's the
same
thing.
Women you've been messing with. This is one thing I don't understand about men. They will
talk about it.
They will totally acknowledge that you are a different breed of woman.
Talk about it.
Wow, you're so amazing. I have never had a woman like you. Wow, you're this. Wow, you're that. And they will still try to play petty games. Like, let me tell you something. When you run up on a unicorn, and for those of you who don't understand the expression, a unicorn is a very rare creature, almost mystical, almost fantasy. When you run up on a unicorn of a woman, you don't put her on no shelf. You don't try to put her on layaway. Baby, you do what you got to do behind the scenes to get yourself ready, and you step up to the plate and you claim her. That's what you do when you find a unicorn. Now, if you want to stay dealing with mediocre women and you want to stay dealing with the same kind of women who maybe just broke your heart, then keep playing the games that you're playing, because that's how you got her in the first place. But I'm telling you, it's like, really, stop doing that. Stop.
Listen, my phone be beeping.
That irks me. That irks me so bad. Don't tell me I'm wifey material. Don't tell me I'm all that in a bag of chips. Don't tell me you feel different with me that you ever felt with anybody else, but then you don't step up and claim me. Even if you got issues preventing you from doing it at that moment, nigga, you need to be working double time behind the scenes to get yourself ready. But what you
we gonna be sister 3 times.
But what you don't do, you don't put her on no shelf. You don't put her in a layaway plan, bruh. I'm gonna give you a little bit now. I'm gonna give you a little bit every 2 weeks. And
It's so
eventually
rough.
I'm gonna have enough to get you out of their way. What?
It's so rough.
Bruh,
That's so rough.
she gonna be out.
Just stop.
You gonna miss it,
If
bruh.
you're not gonna treat her right, just stop. I
Well,
mean,
guess what?
granted, we know.
Well, guess what? As a good woman, if they don't step up and claim you, you feel like that's them telling you they're not gonna do right by you. So what we
Yeah.
do is we count our losses and keep it moving.
And listen to this, as bad as it may hurt us, we may say to you, but I love you. We could tell you we love you until we blue in the face. That doesn't mean we're not going to walk away.
Exactly.
Because you can love a person and walk away.
And that's why you walk away. Because if I love you, but you can't return that energy and the actions that I give to you, I gotta walk away so I don't hurt myself. Because this is how we as women hurt ourselves. Loving a person who tells us they're not ready for us. I can't stick around because I'm gonna hurt me. It ain't gonna be you that hurt me, it's gonna be me that hurts me. So as good women, when we recognize that you can't step up to the plate or that you won't step up to the plate, we can love you all day, but we're gonna keep moving because we know.
You know what I wish though, sis, and maybe this is wishful thinking, but what I wish is that the men that know we have this impact on their lives would choose to do right. And so I'd like to pose that question. You can hit us up later. You can send it in a message box. Why don't y'all just choose to do right? Is it that we are so different from what you're used to? Isn't that okay? Difference is good than what you're used to. So I would just like to know. I just want to know. I'm only asking. I'm not telling anything. I don't have the reason. When you have a good woman who wants to share her world with you, okay, who is different from any other woman that you've had before, I'm talking to the camera. Mm-hmm. Why won't you try? I understand that there are going to be some issues that you're going to have, and there may be some things that you even need to clean up. But why not try? That's what I would like to know.
That's good. I want to know too. I see that. I want to know.
And somebody else want to know. We all want to know.
On behalf of all good women.
And somebody will say, what classifies us as a good woman? Let me tell you what classifies us as a good woman.
Break it down. Because next week we're going to talk about the difference between good and bad women. Ooh.
Yeah, we are. Good women are women who, they don't always necessarily have to work, but that can be hard work is a quality. And I don't mean like just going to a job, but I mean hard work. And I'm going by Proverbs 31 because the Bible says that she wakes up early before her family. Mm-hmm. So hard work is a quality. She's not going to be afraid to get her hands dirty with you. She's going to love you. She's going to care for you, even through your pain. And even sometimes when you've mistreated her, she may still be around. I'm not saying it's okay. It depends on the mistreatment. But I'm just saying that a good woman that truly loves you, she'll still be available when you've done it. Here's another thing that I'm going to speak on. Some women may not agree. But if you're in a relationship and you're married to a woman, she's not going to cheat. A good woman, she's not going to cheat. She's not going to go out. You can tell her to go and sleep with somebody. Mm-hmm. You could tell her to go and give herself to somebody else sexually. She's not going to do it. You know why? Because her body belongs to you. She's already made that decision. You're in a covenant. She's not going to cheat on you. She's not going to give herself sexually to another man. We're talking about good women.
Good women.
Women that value their body and what they have. Okay? When they know that they have something special, they're not going to give it to everybody. Mm-hmm. You don't share your special chocolate with everybody.
Come on now.
Why would I give myself away to everyone? A good woman is going to be there when you're up financially, when you're down financially. She's going to pray for you. She's going to console you.
And give you the same energy whether you up financially or down financially.
Exactly. She'll never fold on you in regards to that. She's praying to God for you and about you and about the unity of your relationship. A good woman is when you've been outside all day working, whatever you do, you come in, the house is sweet, it's calm, it's peaceful. Now, if y'all get to arguing over something that you've done, check your actions. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's a bad woman. She's calling you on your actions because a good woman is going to hold you accountable.
That's it.
Okay. So let's talk about, when we talk about good women and bad women, I already gave to y'all some things. She's not going to cheat. We could put that out there. Somebody may not agree, but she's not going to cheat. You know why? Because we don't cheat.
It ain't in our DNA.
We don't. The relationship needs to be over.
Yes.
Before we do anything.
Exactly.
And just know that a good woman, she gonna select who she gonna be with. It ain't gonna be a random.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a selection.
Exactly.
So just think about that, okay? Because we have some bad women too. Since you want to go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I really want to deal with is I kind of want to outline where we're going to hit next week, because we're going to hit a lot of this stuff. But what we're going to talk about next week is we're going to talk about the good woman. We're going to talk about the bad woman. And then we're going to talk about what's behind both. What's behind the good woman? What's behind that bad woman? We're going to talk about the trauma that men put us through. We're going to talk about, do men deal with the trauma after they do a woman wrong? You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about men who are recovering, like they used to be a bad man, now they're a good man. We're going to talk about their actions and how they transition. We're going to talk about men who leave long relationships with one woman and immediately jump into another relationship. Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about society and how society tells you that if a man leave you, it's because you didn't make him happy or because you was inadequate somewhere. And in dealing with that, I want to even wrap up and say, no man cheats because of his woman's inadequacy. I'm going to repeat that. Not one man, no man cheats because of his woman's inadequacy. Every man that cheats, he cheats because of his own inadequacies. And what do I mean by that? Because a good man, even a decent man, he would never cheat on his woman. You know what he would do? He would sit down with her and he would tell her, we had a good run. I'm just not happy anymore. Or the relationship isn't going where I thought it would go. And I just don't want to hold you up any longer. It's best that we go our separate ways. That's what a good man, even a decent man, would do. Before he would put pain on a woman of cheating with her, he would give her the slight pain of just letting her know that the relationship isn't working and he needs to move on. I'm going to tell y'all something. I know men sometimes feel like pain is pain, but there is a difference in pain. When you hurt her, when you lie, when you mistreat her, that's a whole different, oh Jesus, the baby mama, it's, oh God, it's the hood chick. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to do some therapy here, guys.
Girl, what you out here talking about?
Oh my God. Listen.
What you out here talking about?
Chiquita. Oh my God. Chiquita, really? Chiquita? That's Chiquita, you're live on my broadcast right now.
Girl, I heard y'all was talking.
What can I help you with today?
I heard y'all was out here talking about some stuff.
Yeah.
I heard it. What you talking about?
What you need help with, Chiquita? Because I know you need something.
Let me just put this out here. My baby daddy, he gonna come over last night about 2:30 in the morning. Talking about something. Where I been? I said, in my skin. Where you been? Okay, girl, look.
Did you open the door?
I gave him some.
Oh,
I gave him some.
Why, Chiquita?
But I needed it. Girl, please.
Girl, you open the door at 2:30 a.m. to your baby. Do he got a woman too?
And girl, did he even stay the night? Gonna come up in there. I said, where's new diapers? Where's the diapers for Nook? He gonna tell me, check my link card. Girl, I'm sick of him.
Chiquita, why you keep?
I got somebody else. Okay.
Chiquita, if you got
Girl,
somebody else,
listen.
why you keep dealing with him?
Girl, he a dope boy. And girl, we went to Red Lobster and everything. So if he ain't acting right, he gonna be replaced.
Oh my God.
But what y'all talking about?
We talking about you, Chiquita. We talking about women like you. Yes. Girl, you worth more. And you just don't know it. That's why you dealing with all this crazy. You talking about your baby daddy who got a woman, but he's showing up to your house at 2:30 in the morning. You letting him in.
He don't even like her.
He obviously like her, Chiquita. He with her.
He ain't with her. Who said? Who told you that, girl? You been talking. You've been over there on.
You told me that, Chiquita. You forgot you told me he's still with her.
Oh, girl, listen. Girl, he ain't with her like that.
My question to you, Chiquita, why you keep giving him some? Like, if you know he got another woman, he ain't trying to commit to you. He don't even do right by y'all baby. Why you giving him some?
Girl,
I hear your baby daddy, not your husband. His name is not written all over your Kit Kat.
Girl, it ain't, but I don't know. You know, he was just talking, you know, like all that stuff about us being together. And, you know, girl, I just didn't want him. I don't know. I think I just love him.
You probably do, Chiquita, but you know, you're going to have to move on from him, baby. You're going to have to start. Listen. What I need you to do is.
It's always somebody trying to preach down on somebody else.
I'm not trying to preach down, Chiquita. I've been there, okay? You know that. So I appreciate that you talk to me, and I'm always here for you to talk to me. But I really want you to think about getting some counseling. Like, I know Black people think we don't do counseling, but I did counseling. We from the same.
I just can't go
no. You can. I'll go with you if you need me to.
You gonna go with me?
I'll go with you.
Okay,
just
girl.
try it. If you go to at least 2 sessions and you feel like it's not helping, then you can stop. But if you go to them 2 sessions and you feel like it's helping even a little bit, you got to keep going. Deal or no deal.
I think I'll try it, but girl, let me get out of here. I got my seafood on the stove, girl.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me grab it. I'm gonna go get my cousin.
And listen, I'm not here to judge you. I know it's not gonna happen overnight. You've been with that man for 8 years. Y'all got an 8-year-old baby. You got a new baby. So I understand. It's gonna take time. But I want you to do the work. You ain't gotta call him, sis.
Why would that make new? No, y'all want to see him.
Girl, go fix your food. Call me later.
Okay, I'm gonna call you after this, sis.
All right.
I'm gonna call you. I love you.
I love you too, Shakita. Lord God, y'all forgive me. That's my friend Shakita. We have to be there for each other as women. And I hope y'all like that little skit, but we did that basically just to say, like, we're all women and we may be different kind of women from different backgrounds with different belief systems, but that does not give us the right to judge one another or to treat each other a certain kind of way. Like, at the end of the day, we've all been hurt by men. We have all, had these issues that have set us back or traumatized us in some way. I may be further in my healing and my maturity than Chiquita, but it doesn't help me to judge her or to tell her she's dumb or to tell her that I wouldn't do what she's doing. We got to learn how to help one another. Cause sis, I know you dealing with this because you think that's all you can do. I know that you with him because you think nobody else will ever want you, but you can heal and you can move on from this, but you got to start somewhere. And no, I don't expect you to let go of him today, but I just want you to get to a healthier place because I know that if you do that, eventually you will let go. And sis, I'm gonna let you go ahead and wrap us up today. But just talking about, regardless of the trauma and issues you've dealt with, you may not be ready to move on right away from a bad situation. But when you start healing and you start getting yourself into a better place, it gives you the strength you need to let those bad situations go.
Agreed. You know, getting to know oneself and one's patterns is key to avoiding a toxic relationship. If you find yourself in a dramatic or complicated relationship, you have to first decipher whether you've chosen someone undesirable for negative reasons that you are familiar with from your past, or whether pushing away someone you really care for. You can consciously choose to look for someone different. If you realize that the person you have chosen has a lot of the positive qualities you desire, you can look for ways you are acting out in the relationship and aim to change your part of the dynamic that makes things turn sour. Once you understand yourself, you can clearly trace the paths that lead your relationship to unravel. You can take power over yourself, establish a healthier, more honest, and fulfilling relationship.
I agree with that. Y'all, it's been real. I hope y'all will join us next week as we go further down the rabbit hole. We know it was a lot of aggression this week, but sometimes you just got to be real. We need to stop sweeping things under the rug, and we just need to start dialogue and talking about stuff from a real place, because at the end of the day, we as women, that's the only way we're going to change and get better. And it's also the only way men are going to get better, is if we collectively start holding them accountable for and causing their actions to become known to them. It's time out that we stop acting like when a man tells you that he left his wife or he left his relationship because it just wasn't working. No, bruh, you wouldn't work it. Like, somebody got to start telling the truth. And it's not for you to even judge him, but it's for people around him to start holding him accountable, especially other men who do understand. Like, it's time for y'all to start telling your homeboys, like, I'm your boy forever, but like, that's played how you did that, and that's gonna come back on you. Like, be a better man than that. You know what I'm saying? And us as women, we need to do the same thing with each other and support each other so that we can get change, so that things can happen in their life. You don't want a person to stay stuck forever. You don't want them to be the bad woman forever. You don't want them to be the baby mama hung on the baby daddy forever. You want the people in your life to mature, to heal, and to grow so that they can become happy, even if it's with somebody else. So let's continue to love one another, hold one another accountable, and have these real hard discussions in a very, very truthful and non-judgmental manner. All right. So
All right, y'all.
We'll see y'all next week. Share the video. Go to our
Listeners
YouTube
Conversations
channel.
in Black.
Yes, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, because y'all know this video will only be up for a limited amount of time, and then you got to go to YouTube. We also have podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you can find podcasts. We are there. It is Sister Conversations in Black. Go to the website at www.mysisterandme.com for more information, or if you want to support by getting your merch. Y'all see us rocking the merch. Ooh. Or to order our new book, Relationship Status, which is fuego. So you're going to make sure you get that. We want to do a shout out to our community partners. I want to shout out Black Wall Street, Minnesota, with the Honorable President Arlesia Williams, the Honorable Vice President Patrice Finley. I love you guys. Thanks for your support. We love you. Sis, you want to shout out your community?
Yeah, Candy Girls, candy store in Maplewood Mall.
Candy Girl.
So we shouting y'all out. Local business, support local.
Yes.
Support Black owned.
That's right. Support your people. Supporting Kayla girls right now. M-Tech, Young Phenom.
Young Phenom, yes.
They be blessing us. All right, so I
Yes.
love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Ooh.
Bye.